What's up, everybody? Welcome back for another edition of Live from Redhook here at the Function House. Tonight we want to welcome our special guest DJ, Codes. What's up, man?
What's up? What's up? Thank you, guys.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome
Thank you.
to
Thank
Redhook.
you. How's it going?
First time in Redhook?
Nah, I've been here. Actually, I've seen Nicole Madalber played some crazy warehouse party here for New Year's a bit ago. Oh, pretty far from where I'm at in Bushwick. It's like $60 cab ride on New Year's. I remember that.
Are you born and raised in Brooklyn?
No, I'm actually originally from Rochester, New York. I moved to Brooklyn about 14 years ago.
So you moved from Rochester to Brooklyn. It wasn't like to Manhattan first. You went straight to Brooklyn.
No, I actually first was in Greenpoint before it was the expensive Greenpoint that it was today. And then I actually used to live on North 5th in Bedford and Williamsburg. And me and my homies used to pay $750 each before the skyline was blocked with high-rises.
So you came before the whole movement.
Well, I think, yeah, right before.
So you came here because of music? Did music bring you to Brooklyn?
Well, I've been DJing for about 20 years, and I actually moved here to go to school to SVA for graphic design. Never did end up working in a studio, and so I came here for graphic design, ended up just jumping into all kinds of different music stuff.
Wow. So what studio did put you on that you were working in?
So it was Pulse Music. Shout out Pulse Music if any of you guys are watching. They are, I would say, more of like a music house. They had a whole bunch of studios right on 12th and Broadway. Still there, I'm pretty sure. But I started interning there, and through that, I ended up getting a job there, and I met Naughty by Nature was there. I ended up doing a Hip Hop Parade remix a while back, and all kinds of really kind of pretty cool, crazy stuff.
So you came into the game in the hip-hop world.
I would say, like the blog house era days, where it was like, they called it Electro House then. It's not the Electro House that we know today, but that was kind of the thing that I was going for then. I was the guy where everyone there did either, they had a hip-hop guy, they had, any kind of rock or kind of the band stuff, and I was the only one doing electronic music stuff back then.
So you were DJing before you came to Brooklyn, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and I still got, kind of, maybe not the smartest thing to do, but I moved here with a truck full of all my vinyl. I still pay a good $165 a month for my storage unit.
Yeah.
That I never actually go in there anymore, unfortunately. I have like a few that I keep in my room that I started with jungle and drum and bass, and hip hop was like the first thing. I didn't get into house music until, so I started DJing when I was 14, so maybe like 18, 19, I started being exposed to, I would say, quality house music that I just kind of fell in love with. But I started as a jungle drum and bass kid.
What drove you to start DJing up in Rochester?
I went to a rave when I was 14. Shout out to, going to parties when you shouldn't be and you're way too young. But, it was a different day back then, and
I'm sure
I don't know if you
people
can really
still do it.
I'm sure. I think I went to all these bars. It was completely, you can't scan an ID back then.
Yeah.
Things were a lot more loose.
Do you remember the name of the rave?
5 of them. So, actually, funny story that shout out CCCP, homie Jesse and Aaron and all those guys who ended up being homies later on. They threw this party that was at the Armory downtown Rochester. Still, like, I'll never ever forget it. But one of my ended up being friends with him later on in life, and he sent me. He just emailed me, he mailed me a flyer. He's like, I still got flyers from that party. Sent me one, so I lost mine. I got a new one hanging up in my room now, but one of those fold-out ones. There's like, it's called 5 of them. There's a bunch of aliens on the front of it.
And those were total drug-free parties?
Yes. That was, I 100% was sober for that, but definitely I remember clearly, actually a girl that I know now later on in life again, they used to call me Little Cody because I was just a young kid that got kicked out and beat up by every security guard at every single club. And that's why, younger kids are like, yo, I'm not 21, how do I get in? Man, if you like this shit that much, you're gonna find a way to get in. you know, and I did every time, and I definitely got beat up and thrown out because I was, you know, I look young now, or I don't look my age, I would say. So back then, I probably looked like I was like 9 years old.
Yeah. So
but
these were raves, hardcore techno, or?
no, so it'd be, so again, my thing ended up being jungle, and it was because of this. I
So
think
it was jungle raves?
So when there was everything, but Venom, who, you know, he plays like hardstyle now, but he used to play some really, my favorite kind of, I would say 97, 95 to like 98 is my favorite era of music, especially jungle music. And I bought a mixtape, you know, at all the parties on the way out, they used to have the mixtape tables, all different kinds of music, and there was a tape, had Venom on it, and I thought Venom was a cool character from Marvel or whatever. And he ended up, my cousin was like, you don't want that shit, that's that jungle shit. And I was like, nah, I'm gonna get it, and went home. I was supposed to be home at 11 or 12 o'clock. I remember calling my mom from the payphone, like, Mom, I'm gonna be a little later. She's like, you better get home right now. And I'm like, okay. So come home at like 6 o'clock in the morning, got this tape. She's like, I don't know where you've been. You know, I didn't have a cell phone. I didn't even have a pager by then, I don't think. And went downstairs and locked my door and just listened to that tape maybe like 7 more times until I passed out. And I was just like, this is the shit. And I was like, started saving my money the next day. I used to pump gas, and I used to save up my money until I got my first pair of terrible turntables, big long Gemini mixer with the little like 8-second sampler on the side of it.
Yeah.
I can't even remember the name of it. I was like something
Awful.
PMX something. Yeah.
I remember those, yeah. The
Huge
orange
coffin.
one.
I got my turntables from a country DJ, a wedding country DJ or some shit like that. And it was belt drive turntables. There was no pitch fader. You just pick the arm up, little light goes on, it slowly starts spinning around. I had no idea what I was doing, so I would just use the sampler and be like, dit. No idea what I was doing. I thought one side was drums and the other side was bass. And then, so you would buy these records, and then you would kind of, you know, produce these songs on the fly. So I would be like, go to the record store and with my mom, and I'd be like, yo, where's the songs with the drums on it? And like, where's the songs with the bass on it? And they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I'm like, you know what I mean? They're like, we don't know what you mean. Just go listen to records and find out what you want to do. So I figured it took me a really long time to learn how to mix records or what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
So who were the DJs at these raves that you were watching?
A lot of local guys. I remember going and seeing Josh Wink for the first time.
So he was big.
Yeah, and it was just packed. There's a club called Piranha, R.I.P. Piranha, up in Rochester that Fatto used to do things up there. And Fatto was doing a thing called, I forgot what it's called. There's this place at Piranha. I just remember never seeing so many people at a spot before, and super, super sketchy. And I think that's why I liked it too, but it was just like, people were just there to, you know, do their thing and be happy and listen to this weird music that nobody else liked that I just thought was the coolest shit.
Right.
So how'd you get into production? You've been doing a lot of production.
First I had a PC, I had Fruity Loops, no idea what I was doing. I had a good friend who's always kind of been like a mentor who I went to high school with, and I remember skipping school with him to go scratch, and he's doing really good right now. This shout out to Jake, Kill the Noise. He was my first friend who was seriously producing. He was producing hip hop first. I forgot what kind of keyboard. He had like one of the keyboards where you could produce right on the keyboard, and then he got Reason. So I think Reason was the first software where I actually started learning about compression and sampling and all that kind of stuff. I had one monitor. It was just a big, huge, like, Sermon Vega speaker. Like, I had, again, no idea. No one taught me how to do anything. It was just like, Jake was always good because he always gave me tough brotherly love. He's like, you know, no one taught me how to do this shit. Like, you just got to do it.
So you
So I
just
did
spending
it.
time day in.
Spending time
day out.
doing no idea what the hell. Yes. Still, never, like, every day, never. That's why I think production is the shit. I feel like, you know, DJing, you can get to a certain point. Maybe not with scratching, but like DJing in general, but production, you can always get better. You can always like push it and get better and learn new things. And I still am like, fuck, I know I can make this track better. It's like, yo, you gotta just put it out.
So how long does it usually take you to bang out a track? You know, is it different all different times?
All different.
Yeah.
If I had a good, I would say I'd probably put out a lot more music if I had a really good way to do it. But I think my mind's so I kind of, my references, I still got like a filing cabinet up there. Like I haven't got a computer, so I still sometimes I got to go through all these pages and drawers to actually figure out where everything is. But it always ends up making sense, and not always, but that's why I make enough music so the good stuff comes out. I just have so much music that will never see the light of day, but I feel like sometimes you got to get that out to get the good ones out.
So who do you put your music out with?
I would say the first people that really put me on was Craze and Kill the Noise started Slow Roast Records, and I was doing literally straight up disco house, where I was just sampling disco records and sidechaining the shit out of it, and maybe even getting a little lucky where I wasn't the best producer, I would say, but I had some records that started doing really, really well with them, and they supported me and kind of took me under their wing right off the bat, which was cool because I've always scratched and been into that. So just to have Craze even know my name, let alone be like a big bro to me, was a crazy thing for me when that first started. And you know, something's wrong, like, Craze, man, you know, this girl, she's driving me crazy. I don't know. And he's like, dude, just calm down. I was always like, it's crazy to be able to have someone like that to speak with. But he, you know, both of them really, really looked out for me in the beginning of it. Now I do a lot of music with Psycho Disco. Shout out Treasure Fingers. I would say that's the majority of the new stuff I did. I just did a new record last week with Weapons. And now the Spotify thing is kind of happening. I didn't really know how big Spotify was until I would say pretty recently. And everyone's like, yo, you know, like, go check out Spotify. Like, all your stuff is doing kind of well.
So are you seeing any money from that?
No. But I would say that's how fresh it is, though. So this is a very, like, in the past couple months where this is like, they're like, oh shit, I just hit 1 million plays on one of my tracks on my last EP with Psycho Disco on Boom Baps that came out maybe a few months ago. And I have no idea what that means. I'm just like, you know.
But it's a good feeling.
Yeah,
It's
and
million
everyone's
plays.
like, you know, you should be getting this or that,
But
whatever,
this
but
is-
all of it takes time. You
Well,
know, we'll see what
I
happens.
think that just goes to show you just where the music industry is right now. Because, like, I think they're still trying to figure it out in terms of how people are going to make money. Right?
Yeah, I don't think
Because
anyone has any fucking idea what's going on.
the record companies were controlling the industry for so long, and they were making so much money. And then with the whole digital wave, they started losing their avenues for making money. So now they have to reinvent that, right? And the way they're reinventing that is through striking these deals with a Spotify, with a Pandora, with SoundCloud, where now they're taking some of that money.
Yeah.
But what's happening now is that there's 1 million record labels now, right? Because there's nothing, you know.
I'm about to start my own record label, too. I've been trying to figure a name out, too, and you motherfuckers took every name there is. Every time I get a good idea, I look it up, and it's like, there is a record label for everything. Everyone's got a record
But
label.
I mean, you know, like, what does it take now to put out a record? I mean, you don't need to physically make anything. Like, you don't have to press a vinyl record. You don't have to make the actual covering or, you know, and all that stuff. You could do the artwork yourself. So the actual process for putting it out is like, so just
Well,
have your own record.
And this is why there's so many records out. And
Right.
there's so many remixes out of every record.
So what I'm curious about, I mean, we have a lot of people on the show, and a bunch of them that we've had on the show have their own record label. They put out their own stuff on their own record label. Obviously, the avenues to sell it are Beatport, TrackSource, iTunes. You know, the question is, like, a good record, you know, how much money do you make off of that? And you don't have to tell us exactly, but I mean, are you making, you know, because years ago, you know, producers and remixers who put out their own records could make some pretty decent money, especially
Yeah.
remixers. But what does that look like?
Well, I mean, you seen the car that I drove up in, right? So, like, I bought that Beamer with all of the Spotify money that I got. So I'm just like, you know, and you seen my crib, right? So it's like, you guys are laughing, but just because there's a clown face on the front of my mansion, that's why they're laughing. But No, I don't know. It's never. I would love to have a shitload of money, but that's not why I do this. And I wouldn't still be doing it now to this day. Like, I was just in Miami for a week. That's why I sound like that someone's kind of strangling my throat too. It's literally been like my plane was delayed. I didn't, maybe didn't sleep very much. And, but just being around these people and this music and I think that's what, I should probably have more wrinkles than I do, and I think that the music has helped with that. Even though, I've been going to raves until 6 o'clock in the morning for almost 20 years now. But
Yeah, you're holding up pretty good.
thank you, man. I still dress like I'm 15 years old too, so I think that helps.
You gotta stay young, man.
But I think I think the key to it is, or like what I've learned in the past few months is getting into the proper playlist in Spotify. So shout out to Austin Kramer and Athena and all the people at Spotify who've really just been supporting everything that I've been doing. And I think that they kind of test my stuff out in different playlists. And if people, play it and like it, then they move it to bigger playlists, and then that's how it gets more plays. So I think there's almost, it's a different time of music.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing.
I mean, Spotify is sort of redefining the landscape, and it actually is a very cool app for music. Not that we're plugging Spotify or we're getting paid to plug Spotify, but this is a show about
What's
music.
up, Spotify?
And no, but I mean, it's so intuitive, how you can, put stuff into different playlists, and it's really in depth, and there's like almost every piece of music on that platform.
It is, and you can just turn on your phone and listen to, every time I'm behind someone in the line at Starbucks or whatever, always got Spotify in their hand. And I think that I was so, I come from a different time, and, I was always so like Beatport, SoundCloud, all that stuff. And I don't think I ever cracked the code in those things, no pun intended. But somehow my stuff works on Spotify at the moment. So I'm enjoying it and running with it and trying to figure it out myself.
So you were down in Miami for the Winter Music Conference. Did you actually play down there?
Yeah, I did a couple things. I would say my two favorite things was Wednesday night. I did the 6th. So two favorite ones. First one was the Sunset set on the roof of 11, the strip club that used to be Gold Rush.
I'm hearing a lot about this place.
So, all right, and I didn't go downstairs at all.
You're a liar.
And not even every single day I was there. But we didn't end up there every day. That wasn't me. But so on the roof, that's not actually the strip club, but it's on top of it, and the strip club's underneath it. And, shout out Billy Kenny, This Ain't Bristol, another label that I had a release on. So I played their showcase, was on the roof of 11. So from 6 to 7, me and my boy Minith played and did a back-to-back. And it was just crazy because you just, all of a sudden, the sun's coming up, and, that's my favorite thing, is when it's either going up or coming down. And the next one was, I did a sunset set with Walker and Royce, who probably the most music I heard down there, everybody playing, was their music. Shout out Walker and Royce, Gavin and Sam. I did a back-to-back with them on the rooftop of, I think it was called the Townhouse, but it was a Radioactive party. Shout out Radioactive. Those guys killed it. Definitely took care of me when I was down there. And I've been playing their party for a few years now, and they're all out in New York. But they always do a bunch of Miami parties. And completely packed. And it was just like, and we had a crazy night the night before, and kind of just like floating in the wind. And it was like, oh shit, we got a DJ, 6 to 7. So right before set ended, I was like, I did first two sets were the sunset one and the sunrise one. And it was, I couldn't have asked for, I've been going to Miami for a long time, for a spectator, jungle when I was a kid, and drum and bass, and slowly started playing shows. And this was, every year it's like a better year. And I'm like, I just need a nap. It's what's going on right now. And then you guys are like, hey, come on down. I'm like, you know what? I didn't have a voice 5 hours ago, so it's just starting to come back now. And I think that it's enough where you guys can actually hear me. Check, check.
Do you have time to relax, or are you working this week?
I'm gonna sleep for like 3 days as soon as we're done with this. No, I don't know. I probably won't. I'm probably gonna go out after this and go check out some homies. No, but I should actually go to the studio. I haven't been in the studio in a week, so we'll see. We'll see how I feel after this, and
So,
my voice is back.
so are you involved in like the Brooklyn movement of like, playing the local Brooklyn circuit now? Are you playing any Brooklyn parties?
I do. I would say the place I play most would be Output, probably.
Okay.
Jen Lyon, Mean Red, she's like killing it with everything and all over the place now. She's always been really good to me, and and then I would say even Verboten, R.I.P. Verboten. I don't know. It's I don't.
Shkamansky
I
now?
don't think there's very good things to say about Verboten, but I did actually like playing there. That was through usually the Radioactive guys. Szymanski, I haven't been there since it's changed. I heard it looks exactly the same, but who knows? I haven't been there yet. But yeah, we started doing parties on that rooftop in Williamsburg way back then. That's kind of, I feel like, how I started meeting people. Is we used to do 4th of July parties because you could see the skyline and the fireworks and shit. And then they built all the fucking condos, and it was just like, I have no idea, but the rent definitely isn't anywhere close to $750 over there anymore. But that kind of changed, and but I try to support as much New York stuff in general. Like New York State, especially, like Brooklyn stuff.
Sure.
So you got some gigs coming up. You were talking about.
Next week is playing with. Just met the homie Sage Armstrong last week in Miami. Me and him are playing this party for my boy Mark Martinez and the Noise Complaint crew in Seattle, and then I fly to Atlanta to do a Psycho Disco party for all the homies at Psycho Disco, Treasure Fingers, and then they got Mysteryland in June, and a bunch of other things in the works. But this year is turning into like a pretty happy.
That's dope.
That's great.
So you have something planned for us, or you're gonna play a WMC
I have
set?
no idea. Like literally, I woke up a second ago. I was like, yo, I gotta take a nap. Hopefully my voice comes back a little bit. I fell asleep for like 30 minutes, and I didn't realize how far Redhook was. It took me like longer than I thought to get here from
Rochester, yeah.
I took the jet.
Yeah. Thank you.
Tiesto dropped me off.
Nice.
He said, "What's up?" By the way,
Yeah, we've been trying to get him on the show.
he said he's gonna do it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk.
Well,
to him.
hopefully soon.
We appreciate you coming down.
Thank you guys.
And we're going to take a 2-minute break. We're going to get codes up on the CDJs.